All right, good evening and welcome to Thursday Night Magic. Tonight we were going to be featuring the historic format between Friday Witch and Raikou Rider. How are you doing tonight, Roguelink?
I'm doing all right, Sky. Looking forward to seeing how these games go. I know Clifford's real excited to play Goblins. I'm not sure what the other two are on this week, but Historic's already proven to be a pretty interesting format, so I'm looking forward to tonight's matches.
Yeah, Historic, I feel like it's one of those formats that's setting a precursor for Pioneer and the Magic in the future. If you remember, Wizards had announced a couple months ago they plan on bringing Pioneer to Arena at some point, which I feel like will eventually take the place of Historic if they end up going that route. So Historic is supposed to be preparing everyone for Pioneer. I myself am hoping that they eventually release the formats in reverse order and make a pretty cool, hype story of it, So, we'll keep going back and back and back until we get back to the beginning of Pioneer. What are your hopes for what they might do with Pioneer? Do you want a different format between Pioneer and Historic, Roguelink?
I think Pioneer, I've heard so many good things about Pioneer, and the fact that it starts basically where I came back into Magic, because I started Magic again, because I played as a kid, but I started playing Magic again around Theros, and Pioneer starts right around there. So the fact that it's basically my knowledge of Pioneers, just my knowledge of Magic, makes me really excited for it. That being said, the fact that we had Power 9 in those pre-constructed decks last week makes me think they're working on a powered cube for Arena. And a powered cube, I've never actually played a powered cube, so I would be extremely excited if that is actually the direction they're taking.
Well, and it wouldn't take too much. I mean, we saw first of all, we were playing with Black Lotuses last week. Did I mention we were playing with Black Lotus last week? Yes. So in the after party for the Game Awards, there were two decks. Here we go right now too. We'll try to follow up with the commentary on this match, but real quick, there were two decks you could play, and they both contained Black Lotuses. We had stuff, Sword of Fire and Ice, some Moxes in there. It was quite the format. All right, so here we go here. Friday, looking like, I'm going to accuse Friday playfully here of pandering to our commentator, one Roguelink here. With Marty Knights here in Historic.
Yeah, I think this is just two decks that I would play having a scrap. I'm pretty sure we've got Mardu Knights on the bottom, and we've got Boros Angels on top. Which, yeah, I'm on board.
You are very loved right now, Roguelink. Take it as a compliment. And Friday's gonna have to be careful a little bit here. So when you see Boros colors right away, let it be Angels or Fires, your first thought, turn 3 Clarion. It always happens, they always have it. And Friday, unfortunately, is going to pay for it this next turn.
Yeah, unfortunately, Friday doesn't really have much to protect their board here. I cannot blame them for going super wide.
Yeah,
but that's going to be a big dent to their momentum.
Yes, that is always a fear when playing any kind of Knights match, and right now, I can tell Friday is adjusting the settings here, which, by the way, very important. Some of the settings on the options menu, it's kind of good to be able to go through things manually, then have the game do that for you. So check your options once in a while, folks. It's always a good idea to see what's going on with the game setting. So meanwhile here, it looks like Raikou's, if I'm going to guess, probably going to start off with Aurelia here.
Yeah, Aurelia makes a lot of sense. Resplendent Angel is also really good turn 3. But if you don't have a life linker, then Resplendent Angel doesn't really kick off until about 6 mana. So Aurelia is going to really hold down the fort and just swing in for a whole bunch.
Raikou here going to go for the Justice Strike play, and with Friday only having 1 card left in hand, that's a wise move here. And also going to be able to double spell into the Resplendent Angel here, so this is a very commanding board for Raikou Rider right now. And that's just the power of Clarion, Roguelink. That is such a momentum card. It's pretty much as viable as board wipes, if not more, because you can give your own creatures lifelink if they can survive the damage being caused by the Clarion.
Right, especially if you're playing it late game or against aggro, or even if you're using it as Boros, which of course it's in Boros colors. There's quite a few Boros with quite a bit of toughness, so you can get around that pump. And it looks like Raikou is going to start making those extra angels. I don't think there's anything Friday can do here.
I do not think so, but I thought of a good card. You have to catch this deck early, but a good card to go up against this deck would be Witch's Vengeance, maybe, especially if you're going up against the Resplendence early on, and maybe not so much the Aurelia or the tokens. But Witch's Vengeance is -3/-3 to a type of your choice, and declaring something like Angels against a tribal deck seems pretty good here.
And there we go, first one to Raikou Rider. And yeah, I've definitely played with several versions of this Knights deck. The historic version that I actually have brewed up right now is actually mono white, just all in, focusing on the best white Knights there are to offer. But Mardu gets a lot of value, get value with the Corpse Knights for entering the battlefield, get value from the Inspiring Veterans, just all sorts of synergies going on there.
And Friday citing in a very key card in this matchup. That's right, Friday had Noxious Grasp going into this. What a fantastic card. Also, Epic Downfall. If this does go to a Game 3 and Friday is not on the draw, or on the play, excuse me, Friday may want to consider putting in even more spot removal for Game 3 to kind of shift the momentum there. And in Raikou's hand, is that a Phyrexian Arena I see? That is a very good choice for a Angels type deck.
Yeah, Phyrexian Arena, very solid, especially if you're going to be gaining a lot of life. Lyra also sitting right next to it. Going to get really spicy.
We did not see the black part of this deck then. Last game, it was all Boros, it looked like.
Yeah, it seems like, and I'm not sure if Raikou boarded into Mardu, but it definitely seems like, looking at this spread, it's definitely more of a Mardu Angels deck.
That Clarion's still gonna hit Friday pretty tough here. I assume
Friday definitely thought last game. Definitely seems like going to dedicate to the board, maybe get Raikou down as far as possible.
Yep, there's the turn 3 Clarion again. It always seems like they have it, Roguelink. When you're playing, you play Mardu quite often. Do you feel like you have Clarion by turn 3 most games?
Clarion, it's definitely something you want a 3 or 4 of, because there's just, especially in the best of 1 formats, there's just some matchups that it absolutely obliterates the board. So it's pretty good. But honestly, even just playing Rakdos, I feel like I always have the answers by turn 3 or 4. If it's not some form of board wipe, it's some sort of targeted removal, at the very least.
All right, Friday here, going with the Knight of Ebon Legion swing. Raikou's already at 6 life. Now, granted, Raikou's going to be able to gain a ton of life by just parking that Lyra out in front. But Friday will have the Noxious Grasp for it, so this is going to be pretty interesting here. Does Raikou get rid of the Knight of Ebon Legion, or does Raikou just park the Lyra saying, nah, I got this on life gain? It's going to be interesting to see. Ooh, Raikou keeping up Settle the Wreckage or Cast Down, because it's a small field.
Yep, Cast Down, definitely going to work out here. Just straight up destroy a non-legendary creature. One of my favorite kill spells, actually.
So Friday's going to have enough on the board or enough removal for the things that Raikou's about to put out. It could be enough time for Friday to land that final 4 damage. However, that is a Bishop of Wings here, and there's going to be a lot of life gains starting at this point.
Yeah, once that Lyra hits, that's going to be a ton of life every single swing.
And remember, Bishop of Wings grants essentially afterlife to all angels. So all those angels that fall are going to become spirits, and that's still going to be extra damage for Raikou here.
Fortunately, it's not going to be the massive swing for Lyra, and Lyra doesn't boost the spirits, but it's still going to be a decent amount of blockers, and there's not much Friday can do in the air currently.
And there's the Lyra. And another 4 life for Raikou, which is great for Raikou right now because Phyrexian Arena, even though it draws cards, it also drains a life every turn. Alright, Friday drawing the Crusader, not terrible, but Raikou is prepared, as all Mardu decks are, as you were talking about, Rogalink, because it has a lot of utility here. Look at Raikou's hand right now. We have a Settle, a Cleansing Nova, a Mortify, a Cast Down. Raikou's pretty much ready for anything at this point. And with that, that is the City's Blessing. Raikou will be able to draw 2 extra cards every turn, one from the Arch and one from the Phyrexian Arena. So if this looks like on a more long-term basis that Raikou's just going to outdraw Friday at this point.
Yeah, Raikou definitely has a lot of the answers. Targeted removal, untargeted removal, board swipes, lots of mana, plenty of way to draw cards. Friday is definitely on the back foot here.
So Rogalink, you play this archetype more than I do. How do you come back as a Knights deck against something like this? You get big creatures, big life gain. How do you make it all work, especially post 1 or 2 board wipes?
So the real advantage of, especially if you've got some card draw in your lower defense or, hyper aggro decks like this, is you have a lot of low drops. So especially if you can get some card draw, after a board wipe, it's really easy for you to start rebuilding your board. So you just play 2 or 3 things on the next turn, wipe your board, try to get another couple things, and that's why it's really important to have that card draw in worst case scenario with these kinds of decks. Now, granted, that card draw is going to make you worse against other matchups, so it's generally better to have in, say, the sideboard if you think you're going to be going up against all those board wipes, or you already know that you're going to be against all those board wipes.
It just seems like for this deck, especially for Knights, just a turn 3 Clarion is just so difficult for it to recover from.
Yeah, you definitely need to get some of your pump spells out. It's possible to get enough pump in order to prevent all of your creatures from dying, but it definitely is cutting it pretty close. There's also options like you have a lot of anthem effects, pump spells, things that can give your creatures indestructible or counters. But when you're dealing with this many 5/5 life-linking angels, it's hard to do anything.
Also, I can't help but wonder if Outlaw's Merriment should have a place in this deck. I mean, look at all the board wipes there, and that is going to do it. Raikou wins this 2-0.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous series of cards from Raikou Rider. Lyra into Resplendent Angel, just those 2 cards by themselves is going to run away with the game.
And yet we didn't get a chance to see too much of that in Standard. The most we saw from Lyra post-War of the Spark was in Blue-White Flyers. So like the Blue-White Flyers would stabilize and then just throw Lyra out, and it was hard to answer.
Yeah, I know I was rocking the mono-white angels for quite some time, but yeah, as soon as War of the Spark came out, I ended up having to drop that plan. To be fair, I also wanted to play Rakdos, so there was that.
But those are 2 powerful decks that both players were piloting again. Just an unfortunate turn, well-timed turn 3 Clarions for Friday's big board.
Yeah, Raikou.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say Raikou's deck definitely has just the right amount of board wipes and just the right amount of power to really give aggro a hard time as well.
But I feel like, Friday did want to try something different, but Friday's initial deck, and I've seen it, which is Golgari, just Golgari mid, that deck can really rock it in Historic, and Friday pilots it so well. And I hope one day we get a chance to see that again, because Golgari, and it looks like Clifford is about to use or not Clifford, Friday is about to use Golgari here. So that's awesome. Well, you're going to get a chance to see Friday kick butt with this one, because I know this is a really, really, really stacked deck that Friday has here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this goes. Mid-range usually has a pretty big advantage against aggro, and I believe Clifford said he was going to be rocking goblins this week, so I'm curious to see how this match goes, and if Clifford can just zip right under the radar.
Now look at this here. Based on this opening hand for Friday, we have the Explore package is obviously in this deck because we have Wild Growth Walker, and I assume we have Jade Light Rangers and whatnot, so that's a really cool thing to include in here. And then we see Phyrexian Arena, Murderous Rider, and on Clifford's side also, we see... That's
lots of goblins.
Well, it's a little blurry on my end, but that's one of the historic printed goblin cards, right?
Yes, Goblin Matron. It allows you to search up more goblins. So we've got a hasty goblin, 2 goblins tied together, and a thing to get more goblins.
Ooh, that is a second Murderous Rider for Friday. So against the red matchup, Murderous Rider is such a lethal thing to go against a red deck, because not only do you get a creature to get destroyed, which yes, the person does have to sacrifice 2 life. However, the other half of Murderous Rider is a 2/3 lifelinker, which red has a surprisingly tough time dealing with.
Yeah, a well-placed lifelinker is pretty difficult for red to deal with. It certainly makes it harder when if red's planning to just count to 20, any sort of lifelink can throw that plan out of whack.
Okay, Goblin Matron for Goblin Warchief. Great choice there for Clifford. And here comes the Explorer package. However, the Wild Growth Walker is off right now, which that's understandable. If you're a red deck, you're going to want to get rid of that immediately. Clifford going for Murderous Rider, which again, that 2/3 lifelinker is tough to get over, but this War Chief here is going to put in some work.
Yeah, War Chief is probably one of my favorite goblin cards. The reducing just by a colorless. It is a shame that it doesn't reduce it by a red mana, which would allow Clifford to play more things. Like War Chief doesn't work with Chain Whirler, for instance, but the ability to sacrifice a goblin for Prospector and just get some crazy work in, getting the Goblin Trashmaster, pumping all of those goblins, and then hasting from the War Chief, that 2/3 is suddenly looking in trouble.
Yeah, what a move here from Clifford, using the Prospector's effect there to get both the War Chief and the Trashmaster out. The only thing is, Clifford did lose a lot of creatures that would have been 2/2s there. So that's a tough move for Clifford to make there. We'll see if it pays out. I assume Clifford's deck doesn't run as many lands as your average deck would, so hopefully Clifford will be able to get some good draws and capitalize off of that risky move.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this goes for Clifford. I want to... Ooh, there we go. We've got another Trashmaster coming online.
And
my guess is that Clifford was thinking a 2/2 isn't going to do too much against a 2/3, so he was pretty eager to sacrifice those things to get that Trashmaster out a little bit faster.
Friday going for the Vraska's Contempt. Not only is your creature exiled, but Friday will also gain 2 life here. Pretty good exchange for Friday.
Clifford unfortunately not being able to swing in with the entire board, but still being able to make that big swing for 6.
Friday making the tough block there. Totally understandable why Friday chose to do that. Oh, and there's the Explore package right here, Roguelink.
And we've got 6 mana on board too, with just enough green, so we are going to get the Wild Growth Walker right into the Jade Light Ranger.
That is tough for any red deck to deal with, is the Explore package. Even when Red Deck Wins was at its strongest, you feared Wild Growth Walker. That's why every deck ran 3 damage, Lightning Strikes in, and 4 copies of each was for that Wild Growth Walker.
Yeah, Wild Growth Walker is really tough to deal with if all of your damage is, number-based. 3 damage, 4 damage. Walker it's just one Jade Light Ranger, and Walker just starts getting out of range.
And that is a Bolas Citadel in Friday's hand. Now, Friday's going to want to be careful with that, mind you, because that does cost life to do. So Friday's probably just going to chill out for a little while, destroy the Trash Master so you get the Anthem effect reduced, and then probably play the Branch Walker here, gain some life back.
Now, does this deck run Call of the Dreadhorde?
I'm trying to remember. I want to say it runs a copy or two. I don't know if you'd want to run it against red typically, because again, you have to pay life. It depends on how much you have at the time. But Clifford drawing the 5th land, which is typically a quarter of the lands in Clifford's deck at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure how dense the Explore package is in Friday's deck, but definitely there is a Walker in the graveyard. I'm not sure anything else is with Explorers in the graveyard, which got me thinking about Dreadhorde, is when you can break even on the cost of things with all the life gain, paying life, even against red, tends to be negligible. But it all depends on what's in your graveyard.
And this is one of Friday, which is signature creatures here, the Doom Whisperer. I never see anyone run it, but Friday, in a lot of Friday's decks, I've seen it, and it's a pretty good card.
Yeah, I really like the Doom Whisperer. Hard to deal with 6/6 flyer in the air, let alone all the value you can get with the Scry.
Friday going
or not the Scry, the better Scry.
The Surveil. The better.
Yes, thank you.
I might call it better Scry instead of Surveil. I approve. And speaking of mechanics too, something I want everyone to think about here. One of Roguelink's favorite types of sets is coming out soon. Everyone keep an eye on Theros and all the spoilers coming out during the spoiler season.
Oh yeah, Theros is easily one of my favorite formats. I just hope we get some form of Gary, Grey Merchant of Asphodel, because that card was so much fun to use.
I think that's gonna do it for Clifford here.
Yeah, Clifford, I think, going in for a big swing, trying to do what he could. Friday winning on the crackback.
And Friday even had the Rankle to boot as well, if that wasn't enough.
And there we go. So let's see, Legion's End going to be really good against Clifford's deck here.
And the Questing Beast too. You want to know how to beat red? Put a big creature out on the board and just say, okay, now what?
Yeah, the direct removal isn't going to be so good, so definitely not going to bring in the Assassin's Trophy, since you never really want to use it against anything. The Murderous Riders are nice, because you still get a little bit of value even if you start picking away at their real big creatures.
But why not find Finality here? I feel like Finality is really good if you get into a tight spot against a red deck.
Yeah, that's true, especially with all of the low, cheap, low power, low toughness creatures. Finality can be really good for just wiping the board on red.
That Castle Locthwain is a really good draw for Friday. Friday needed another land there, so good on it. And not having to pay the 2 for Overgrown Tomb is pretty big in a red matchup as well. Clifford getting a lot of lands for a red deck to start. 6 is a lot in the opening 10 cards.
It is a lot. Fortunately, he's going to be able to get Krenko as well as the Goblin Matron next turn. So I definitely see why he wanted to keep this hand.
Are you right? You slap the big beast on the field and you just go for it here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's got Vigilance. So we're not going to be able to see any weird Krenko shenanigans here. I'm guessing Clifford's going to be pulling up the Matron with the Trash Master. Or a Trash Master with the Matron.
Yeah, Clifford definitely... I'm not sure if this deck has some kind of mana sink, but it would definitely be good here.
Yeah, I can think of a few mana sinks that you'd put in red, such as X damage spells, for instance. Ringleader, another fantastic choice. I believe Ringleader was another historic card. I can't actually remember.
So Wild Girth Walker here, Friday keeping up the Murderous Rider.
Yeah, that questing beast is gonna do work.
The questing beast? I think I've been more worried about the Liliana right now, honestly. Liliana's gonna be really good here.
Yeah, forcing all that sacrifice, or just building up your board.
Yeah,
Lily is always good.
Mm-hmm. But Clifford's starting to draw well here, thanks to the ringleader and the goblin matron. I forgot how potent the ringleader could be. That was a really good pick there for Clifford, given the situation.
Yeah, swinging with the Krenko, trying to get some extra goblins. Probably planning on playing the other Krenko next turn with 6 mana to work with. Clifford's going to be able to dump pretty much all of the goblins in hand.
All right,
but will it be enough, though?
Yeah, you go Liliana here. Hit the +2. Or +1, excuse me. So, I don't know if there's been any bans in Pioneer now that I think about it lately. I know, not in Pioneer, in Historic. I know in Pioneer, they recently banned Oko and Nexus of Fate, but I wonder if they've done anything for Historic so far.
I know Oko's banned in Historic, but I'm not sure if anything else is.
Okay. I think Clifford here is going to go horizontal and maybe go for Liliana here because that's going to be very much of a problem. Although, I don't know how much damage Clifford has on board right now. A lot.
Clifford does have a lot on board, and it's all hasting too with the War Chief.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how big of a swing this is. As they say, math is for blockers, but oh my goodness, yeah, Clifford
is he just coming in at the face?
Oh my!
Yep, all coming to the face.
Oh my goodness, that's a swing right there.
This is gonna be some hard choices. Fortunately, this is honestly a pretty good play. The zombie can kill one of the smaller goblins, but really the questing beast is the only thing that's a huge problem. This is going to be a massive dent to Friday's life.
Oh, okay. CPU says Nexus of Fate is banned in Historic as well, which makes sense. All right. Well, Clifford's got a crackback here.
Well, Clifford also has the 3 goblins to block with that he got from Krenko as well. That's important to know.
Yep, but the questing beast still has something to say about that.
And this murderous rider is going to turn those 2/2s into 1/1s, which is not going to be enough to block and kill that questing beast.
Yeah, I think Clifford might actually take game 2. Now, keep in mind, the murderous rider will gain 2 life for Friday, but that's probably not going to be enough here.
Yeah, I can't tell if Clifford's wide enough to just get in with all the damage here. The murderous rider is going to be healing 2 off of this as well, so Clifford's would probably swing in here regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be close, but I don't think it's enough. Yep,
Friday.
All the 2/2s are blocked. It's gonna get in for and then the murderous rider heals for 2, bringing him up to 1.
The murderous rider did it.
So close.
That was very close.
Just enough.
Impressive on both ends. That was the best game we've had all night, bar none. What a performance by both Clifford and Friday there. If Clifford draws 1 less land, Brokelink, I think that's it.
Yeah, Clifford was literally 1 creature draw away from winning that game. Literally any card, not a land, would have won that game for Clifford.
I just wanted to see what a game 3 looked like, but you want to know what? That was well earned by Friday. Friday putting the questing beast in from the board. You love it. That's one of the best things about best of 3 is that sideboard is so critical, and it paid off big here for Friday. You and I are gonna have to play again at some point, Roguelink.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's your
Like,
little
without a doubt.
creatures versus my big ones on average. Although lately, I've kind of been into the little creatures as well. I've been playing Teamer Adventures a lot in Standard right now, and it's been doing pretty well. The Lucky Clover, Petty Theft, and Brazen Borrower combo, so good.
Mhm. Yeah, most of what I've been playing is Rakdos Cat Sack. So pretty much what it says on the tin. I get to play old Judy again, which is great. I get to play my sacrifice, my devils. I get to play all of these really good Rakdos cards, which couldn't quite get there, but now with thanks and help with this one nice little kitty, my deck is way better with just 2 cards.
That's awesome, though. And that's something you've been wanting to play for a while, so I'm really happy you have a really solid standard deck that fits into that.
Yeah, it's really great. It's crazy because even though it's a really low drop sort of aggro deck, just the fact that the cat is in there makes it ridiculously grindy, because even if they're swinging in, you block with the cat, sacrifice the cat, get it back on the battlefield, and unless they've got trample in green, like, you're gonna come out ahead of that.
I really miss red deck wins being relevant, like, a lot. I feel like red kind of got the butt end of everything in Eldraine, so I'm hoping that something changes with Theros. The last time a Theros set came out, we got Lightning Strike back, which is something I really feel like red deck wins is just missing right now. Just that 3 instant damage is so important for 2.
Yeah, 3 for 2 is ridiculous value when it comes to red deck wins. And considering there's going to be a lot of like hasty satyrs, there's going to be some real spicy red gods, I'm sure. Purphoros is probably going to make some form of return.
Oh, love Purphoros.
Heliod is still an asshole. Lots of stuff to work with, Really curious to see how they play with the gods this time. And Devotion is probably one of my favorite mechanics because it really helps my general play styles of, hey, I'm going to pick a color. Cool. I'm going to just go all in. Cool. Let's go.
Yeah, CPU is right about this with Ashiok coming back as well, like a good Ash, not the one we have as bad right now, but it could certainly be better. The current Ashiok to be released, I feel like will contribute to some kind of new Esper deck, which is frightening, but if you like Esper, you're gonna love it. Hey, Clifford again, being pandery. We back on Gruul turf, Roguelink. I love it.
You do, yeah. I was gonna say you do love some Gruul.
Oh, Gruul is such a fun combination. It comes in quickly, and then it gets big really quickly, and Gruul is just so near and dear.
Yeah, I feel like I would play Gruul a lot more, and I'd play Jund a lot more if I wasn't too busy building Mardu and Rakdos.
So one of my favorite cards, if I'm playing Historic Gruul, which I do, that is my deck in Historic, there's one all-star card, Roguelink, and that is Burning Tree Emissary. And I played a ton of that card back in Return to Ravnica block. I believe it was from Gatewatch at the time. And I love that card.
Burning Tree, yeah.
And I'm sure I could see you being really big into Boros Reckoner back then, also from Gatewatch.
Well, that was right before I started playing again. So I played some of those cards in a Chaos draft that I participated in at the time. But there's a lot of those crazy cards that I did not get a chance to play. Although I have definitely seen people do Burning Tree Emissary into Burning Tree Emissary into Burning Tree Emissary into Burning Tree Emissary.
Wait, this ain't Gruul. This is just goblins.
Green. There's green. There's green and goblins. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Where's the chunky creatures? No, we got the cheap seats for Gruul. No.
What are you talking about? This deck has 3 3s. That's as chunky as you need.
Although this ringleader here is about to prove me wrong, this ringleader is about to kick some serious behind here.
Well, do you play the ringleader here, or do you go for the lightning strike? Get rid of that resplendent angel early.
I believe you can do both with Prospector, no?
Well, you're gonna need 6 mana for that. And I think I think Clifford's 1 short. You could sacrifice the Prospector and the Matron to get that last 4 if you wanted to really refuel.
Well, Clifford saw the match with Ryko before, and with stuff like Clarion happening at any moment in time, I feel like I just take the sacrifices and go for the ringleader here.
Ringleader is really good for refilling that board, but it looks like it's going to go with the War Chief instead.
That's respectable. This turn, I do believe we're going to probably see some... Oh, another Resplendent Angel draw, which is good and bad for Ryko. It's good in the sense that life gain's back and that security is back. The bad part about it is Ryko wants to be able to park Lyra out as soon as possible. And also, with only having 1 black source, Ryko can't play Phyrexian Arena either. So, that's a tough spot for him.
Now, if I was Clifford here, I'd drop the War Chief, sacrifice the Prospector, and then get Krenko down 1. No, see the line! Yes! Let's see if he sees the line. Do it! Do it! Ah!
We're going to send in the ESP waves to Clifford. Didn't quite connect there.
Oh, I love, War Chief into War Chief and then playing something for way too cheap is one of my favorite lines in Goblins.
Oh, absolutely. And Ryko here, though, doing a really good play here. Holding back the Fabled Passage. You can do double cast down here. And Ryko will also have Phyrexian Arena available in the next turn. That's something Ryko needs right now, is to refill the hand or draw that last land for Lyra. Because Clifford's going to be having a very difficult time dealing with that. Any rule deck would have a tough time against Lyra. It would literally take some kind of big creature and does direct damage to the creature spell like what Vivian would do. But I believe you go all in here, no?
Yeah, going all in would be pretty good here. There's no life link on Riku's side. And the 2 cast downs would prevent Clifford from having any haste, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea to be that aggressive. But Riku's going for it.
I mean, why not? That's totally understandable. Oh, and I'm telling you, Clarion is so good, and Ryko is about to show that again. Ryko will give up the Resplendent Angel to do it, but I feel like at this point, it's not a terrible play. Of course, you attack first, and then you would do that, if that's the line. No, Ryko doing the arena tactic. I guess, you have 21 life. Makes perfect sense. You're going to nab a Grimgully off of it, too, now.
Yeah, right now, I don't think Riku's too afraid of anything that Clifford has to play. The Trash Master will get some stuff out of range, but for the most part, the Clarion is going to wipe Clifford's board at pretty much any point in this game.
I like the combination of Grimgully plus Krenko. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, Krenko is definitely one of my favorite cards in the Goblin deck. When I was playing Goblins earlier, I would also have a lot of pump spells for Krenko as well. So you could just get a ton of surprise Goblins out of Krenko with one really big swing.
Ryko not taking the swing with Resplendent Angel. Just decides to do the Clarion, which is understandable. But right now, Ryko, much like the match when Friday was playing the Knights, just has a firm handle post-Clarion here.
Siege Gang Commander, very nice.
It's a good card. It will also, Eldest Reborn won't hit Clifford as hard here until the final activation of it, because nothing to discard in Clifford's hand. and then you just get rid of one of the tokens, and then, you know, what does Raiko get here? The Resplendent Angel, I believe.
Right, and here comes Lyra.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. I believe maybe the play here is to just fling all the goblins at Lyra.
Yes, it is important to know that Siege Gang Commander can throw himself as well.
Or any other goblin too, I believe.
Right, yeah, it's two for one, it's 2 for 2? I can't remember how it works, but yes, he can fling any goblin as well as himself. But Clifford, seeing the writing on the wall, is going to concede here, and let's see what he pulls in.
Yeah, there's really, between main and side, there's no good way for Clifford to get rid of Lyra. Clifford would have had to put Fry in the sideboard when playing this color combo and what he's going for right now.
Yeah, I think all the color-specific hate is really good in the sideboard right now. Like, generally speaking, I try to have most of those in my sideboard with just any deck that I'm playing, because that targeted removal is just very efficient and very good if you're going up against those specific decks.
Yeah, this is all going to be about, I mean, Clifford going first will help, but this is going to be about when Raiko can get the first wipe. And Raiko hung tough, like right up until the Fabled Passage kind of helped out there, because being stuck on mana in a Mardu deck, especially Mardu Angels, is pretty rough against aggro. So Raiko did do a good job of doing that.
Yeah, Clifford has a lot of stuff, but it's not fast enough. Prospector, I like this hand much better than that 7.
Oh, yes, this hand's a beat right here. The only thing is, do you sacrifice the Prospector to play the War Chief? Yeah.
You know, I don't think you do it for the War Chief, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does it for the Ringleader.
Raiko's starting out with a Resplendent Angel and 2 Justice Strikes, not too shabby. Justice Strike to be used on this War Chief here, or one of them.
Yep. Fortunately for Clifford, still going to have enough mana for that Ringleader. Oh, and also a Matron, which is going to help a lot as well. Ooh, only 1 goblin off the Ringleader, that's rough.
Yes, but those are cards that maybe Clifford might not be able to use as much right now, which is true, really. Getting rid of the Resplendent would be great and all, but Clifford's got to get to all those creatures. But right here, looking like Raiko's going to go with Clarion? Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Gotta keep that board clear.
Alright, so...
And looking at Raiku's hand, that's going to be a lot of removal that Clifford's going to have to work through.
Another Clarion this early for Raiko. This is panning out well here. So many board wipes in this deck. And Phyrexian Arena showing off how strong it is.
And next turn, Raiku's going to be able to start pumping that Resplendent Angel as well. And Clifford's not going to have a way to deal with it. Clifford swinging in, trying to get at least a couple goblins here.
Now, I believe, if I remember Volley Veteran right, that should be able to get rid of the Resplendent Angel at least.
Yep, it will. Which is a nice targeted removal. That'll slow down Raiku's plan a little bit, because I believe the plan was going to be, start paying 6, getting that real big thing, but just going to throw out another board wipe. But this was just what I was talking about earlier, where Clifford now has a ton of cheap cards, and he's going to be able to just start putting out a ton of them each turn.
Yep, Seraph of the Scales is going to foil that a little bit. That's a really good card right now. Oh, and the Bishop of Wings there. Didn't even see that until now. But yeah, Seraph plus Bishop here. I could make a pun about tilting the scales, but I'll pass on that one. All right, Grimgully coming up next, and the only issue now, Clifford's in that awkward 4-mana spot. You kind of want 5 in this because you want to be able to play 2 spells per turn, and that's kind of difficult right now.
Yeah, Clifford can definitely play 2 per turn, but you want 1 spicy card and 1 little, one of your basic cards. So you've got like the Matron and an Instigator, the Matron and the Gruul Goblin. But only being able to play 2 of the smaller ones isn't nearly as potent.
Yeah, Raiko's deck definitely feels like Mardu control.
Yeah, I could see that. Just a handful of really spicy angels, and then the rest of it's dedicated to really keeping down your opponent.
The only issue with that kind of deck is if you're facing a control mirror, even something like Fires, that's tough because a lot of the time the board's just going to be clear and there's not a lot of things that those board removal or the spot removal is really going to do. And I'd imagine Raiko has a side deck for against control.
Yeah, this kind of control deck is definitely one that really benefits from the sideboard. If you need a lot of board wipes, if your opponent's going wide, go with a bunch of wide board wipes. If you need that real precise targeted control hate, go with your Justice Strikes, your cast downs, your direct targeted kill spells.
Is this I wonder, is Raiko gonna go with the Clarion here or just going with Aurelia here, so going to go for some spot removal here instead.
Yeah, Aurelia is going to be real nice, and I'm not paying for the lifelink. Oh no, it's Vigilance, not lifelink. That's right.
Yes.
It's Vigilance and Death Strike. I don't know why I thought it was lifelink and Death Strike or Death Touch. Clifford's still light on that mana. Could start sacrificing some goblins to get a few more extra plays out, but I'm not sure if it'd be worth it here.
Yeah, Raiko's going to be dealing heavy damage next turn.
Yeah, let's see what he decides to fetch up with the Matron. I could see either a Trash Master or a War Chief, honestly.
I mean, Raiko always has that escape hatch where if things are looking not too great, Raiko will still have, I believe, 3 spirits from destroying the Seraph of the Scales. And then, so what you do is you'd attack your first with the angels, especially with the vigilance. Aurelia can give itself vigilance. And then after that, I believe you would Clarion. Or you can just, I saw that Resplendent Angel too. Raiko going with the Clarion first.
Yep, Afterlife and the Bishop triggering. Then going for that Angel. Another big body. And swing in with a lifelink, which is going to trigger the Resplendent Angel, getting another... Raiku's going to have easy lethal in the air.
Without a doubt. And all the life, too. Raiko at 28 life right now.
Clifford going out on his own terms.
What a classy play, Clifford.
And boom.
That's a really strong angel control deck by Raiko. A lot of board wipes, a lot of control going on, and you don't see Mardu control every day. So I definitely say it's jank, but like good jank,
Yeah, and that's a tough matchup for Clifford to break through as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mardu and even just Boros, but Mardu especially has all kinds of board wipes to deal with. But I think that's going to be our last game for tonight. What did you think of the showing today, Sky?
I really like the two decks that stood out for me today the most. You know, obviously we were just talking about it. Ryoko's Mardu Angel Control. Again, very unique, very different. And it looked like it piloted really smoothly. So that meant the deck was built very well. And then, of course, Friday's Golgari deck. Oh my goodness. They're just combining the Explore package in there with, you know, Doom Whisper and the Murderous Riders and everything. Friday just had this nice mix of, okay, opponent, you're going to get to do your stuff, but you want to know what? I have all of these cards to still tip the scales in my favor. So we're going to have it out, but I'm always going to be one step ahead. And that is something I love about Friday's Golgari Historic deck.
Yeah, Golgari has this great combination of nice, big, beefy green creatures and just all of the removal that black comes with. Plus just a lot of efficiency. A lot of efficiency.
I would like to thank everyone for being here, and of course my co-commentator here, Roguelink, for doing commentary. As a reminder, again, we have the holidays are coming up next week, and then we have GDQ coming up. So keep your eyes posted for scheduling. And Clifford should be giving information in the Discord probably at some point as to what's going on. So again, the schedule may get a little rickety over the next few weeks due to speedrunning events and the holidays, but we will do our best to communicate the best we can as to what's going on. But thank you again to Friday, Clifford, and Ryko for all playing, because Historic's a really difficult format, and I love seeing it played as it was tonight. So again, big thanks to everyone who contributes to Community Night. Do you have anything else you'd like to say, Roguelink?
Yeah, good games, good decks, and I can't wait to see how Historic goes with even more cards added to the mix.
Yep, Theros is going to be here before we know it, and I know Roguelink, for one, cannot be any happier about it. I'm looking forward to Sagas coming back. I think it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I think that does it then for us tonight.
Have a good one, everybody.
Take care, folks.